Hello and welcome to Life Unstoppable, Living Life Unstoppable podcast. I am your host, Rochelle. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. With this podcast channel, we like to discuss different ways and help people live a life that's unstoppable in every area of their lives. We would like today we're going to talk about breakups, healing, and letting go so that you can live your life unstoppable. So this is for people if you've had a recent breakup or a divorce. Honestly, with any relationship that you may have had that you've had to depart from, that you had to break away from, this episode is for you. We're talking about how to heal after that breakup and how to let go of the hurt and the disappointment of a relationship that did not work, and how to move on so you can live your life unstoppable. This is a very, I feel, a very heartfelt episode because we're going to dive into something that's painful that we don't always deal with. We don't always hear people talking about the pain of a breakup and the hurt, but it is a journey when you have to navigate a breakup. Any type of relationship that you break up, there's a journey that you have to go through. And we're going to talk about the different aspects of healing. We're going to offer some advice on coping with emotional pain and discuss the art of letting go to embrace new beginnings. So some key points that we're going to discuss today is understanding the impact of a breakup. We'll touch on the emotional, physical effects that breakups can have and validating the experiences for you guys. Sometimes we don't really understand how a breakup or ending of a relationship, how it does impact us, not just emotionally, but it can impact us physically as well. Of course, we know mentally, emotionally, off the top, everybody talks about how it affects you that way, but it can also affect you physically. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the stages of grief, exploring how the grieving process applies to relationships and help you understand and identify the feelings that come along with it. Because when you end a relationship, you're ending something. There's a part of you that's in a way that's like a death. You know, we like to associate grieving just with the death and the loss of a loved one, but that divorce or that ending of a relationship can be viewed as a death because that thing is ending. So we will talk about that. You do go through stages of grief. Some people do go through stages of grief. So we're going to talk about that and discuss the stages of grief when it deals directly with a relationship. We're going to talk about practical health strategies. Self-care. You guys know I am a big advocate of self-care. Thankful to a friend of mine who she believes in self-care, and she tells us all the time, you have to take care of yourself. You have to do self-care. And so I have taken that on, and I believe in self-care, and whatever that self-care looks like for you, that's fine. But as long as you're taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself during this time, because this is a vulnerable time for you. So taking care of yourself during this time, during this process, during this journey of getting over a breakup and healing. We're going to talk about building a support system. We need to discuss the roles of your family, your friends, the professionals that can help you get through this healing stage, and process every emotion that you need to process to get you to that next level of being healed and living your life unstoppable. And we know that we definitely, support systems are very important. I always talk about that as well. Also, mindfulness and reflection, techniques to process your emotions and to gain a perspective of what happened, how to move on, and what your life looks like in the future. We're also going to talk about the art of letting go. And that's important because we have to be able to let go of everything that comes along with that breakup. The disappointment, the fear of failure, fear within itself, the hurt, the pain, everything. So we're going to talk about the art of letting go, forgiving yourself and forgiving the other person that's involved, you know? And that's a big one. And that's also one that can be a hard one to do. But you do it for yourself, you know? Forgiveness is not for that person, it's for you. So we will talk about forgiveness. We're going to talk about releasing the attachment, like detaching from the past relationships and the expectations from that relationship. So we will talk about detaching from it all. And then embracing new beginnings, because that's what it's all about. We're moving on from the breakup. We're healing from the breakup, and we're starting new beginnings that can lead us to an unstoppable life, so that you can look forward, you know, to what's to come. Cultivate the hope inside of you to look forward to the future of what's to come. So we know that when, you know, you go through a breakup, a lot of times there's an initial shock. You initially have shock. And of course, it's painful. It's painful to end anything. When you have to end something that you truly love, something that you've given your all to. And I apologize, guys. I have a dog that loves to bark. And if you can hear him, he sounds like he's going crazy right now. It could be somebody walking down the street. I don't know. But I apologize for his barking. But the initial shock and pain, as I was saying, you know, it's painful, and sometimes it's shocking, because sometimes you're not expecting it to happen. There are times when you have an ending to a relationship that you didn't expect. You weren't expecting for the breakup, or you weren't expecting for you guys to have a fallout that ends the relationship, the friendship, or whatever the case may be. So we have to acknowledge the immediate aftermath of a breakup. The physical effects, you know, of a breakup. Let's say if you're in a marriage and you're getting a divorce, some physical effects would be like a move. You may have to relocate. You may have to, if you have shared bank accounts, you may have to split your accounts. If you have children, explaining to your children, that we're going to be living in this home with mom, this home with dad. It's just a lot of different physical movement when you have a breakup. Family and friends, who does this. If you're friends, you share the same friends, you're breaking up sometimes with friends as well, and definitely family members as well, sometimes with a breakup. So these are things that, you may be used to going to that person's parents' home, and now you're not going over there anymore because of the breakup. That's a physical thing as well. So we have to acknowledge the physical effects that come along with a breakup. And and some of these things are immediate. Some things, the shock and the pain, it happens, and it's an immediate reaction. It's an immediate change in your life that you have to recognize. You have to acknowledge and figure out, how do I move on? Some of the common reactions to the initial shock and pain can be denial. You could feel like, oh, well, we just had a bad argument. It'll work itself out. But this may be the argument that puts the icing on the cake, as they like to say, that causes things to completely come to an end. You can feel anger, like you're angry that this marriage didn't work. You're angry that your friendship is broken up, or this relationship has broken up. You feel anger because you may have put in a lot of time. You felt like you've put in love. You felt like you've put in to this relationship only for it to end. So you will feel anger, and sadness, of course, especially if you don't want this relationship to end, but it has to end because it's not healthy, or it has to end for whatever reason. You're going to feel sadness if you were truly in the relationship, and if you were truly 100% in, truly giving yourself to that person, you will feel sadness as well. And those are common reactions, and those reactions are okay. You know, never let anybody think the way that you feel about the ending of a relationship that it's not okay. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel disappointment. It's okay to be sad, or whatever emotion you have. It's okay to feel that emotion. Acknowledge it, heal from it, and move on. And it's always too, you guys, I always talk about seeking professional help, whether that's through a life coach, whether that's through a therapist, or going to your pastor, or whoever you may have in your corner that you feel that can give you the support that you need during this time, who can help you navigate this pain, to help you navigate your healing, to help you navigate moving on to the next level of your life. I always say, get the help that you need. And I'm always going to promote myself. Of course, like I told you, I'm a life coach, and I help people get their lives in order, and also relationships. I help with relationship coaching and everything. So I always promote that. Get the professional help that you need so that you can navigate this problem, navigate this issue, and live the life that you need to live. So we're going to talk about navigating the healing process. And sometimes, healing looks different for everybody, and you have to know what healing is for you. You have to realize when you need healing, when you need the help to get through the healing. But one of the processes that I feel like helps you to navigate through the healing process is understanding grief. And like I said, I do feel when you end a relationship, you do go through a grieving stage. I know for myself, like I've told you before, that I've gone through a divorce. So I know I've gone through the grieving steps several times. In that, dealing with that divorce. I've also felt like I've gone through a grieving when I've lost a friendship. Someone that I may have been friends with for quite some time, and the relationship just fizzled. And it was a person that was probably a part of my everyday life. And so when that relationship ended, I was no longer talking to that person on a daily basis or at all. And it was a grieving process because that was a person that I considered a good friend, and that relationship ended. So I do believe that you go through the 5 stages of grief in the context of a relationship. I do feel like that you do go through denial. I mean, sometimes you have people who refuse, or you may be the case, you refuse to accept the reality of the breakup. And like I said earlier, you may think, oh, this is just a bad argument. We can get through this. But in reality, that other person may be done. Or it's just the denial of thinking, oh, I think things can get better. We can do this. We can work on this. If I change the way I respond to their text, or respond to something that they don't like, then maybe it will help us get back on track. That's part of being in denial. The relationship has ended. The relationship is over. Still expecting after the divorce that y'all will still do family things that you may or may not do. And the person may not want to do those things. That's a denial. Denial, thinking that, oh, well, yes, he left me for this other woman, but he's going to come back to me. That's being in denial. The relationship is over. You have a divorce. You've gone through a divorce, or the friendship is over. So that other person has moved on, but you're in that denial phase of not wanting to accept that the relationship is over. Then you move on to the anger stage, where you feel the rage, where you feel the resentment towards your partner. You could feel the resentment of the relationship itself. you know, that you put in this time for this relationship and it didn't work out for you. So you could feel resentment, like resenting the fact that you were in that relationship. And let's say you were in that relationship for a few years and then it ends in a divorce or it ends in a breakup. Then you can feel like, you know, resenting that relationship, because you can feel that time that you lost, that you felt like you lost time, when in reality you didn't, but you lost time being with that person, being in that relationship, and now it's over. You can also resent yourself and be angry with yourself because you can feel that you didn't give your all, especially if you're the reason why the breakup happened. Let's say you cheated on your spouse, or you lied about different things and it wasn't an honest relationship. You can be angry at yourself and have resentment towards yourself because you didn't live up to what you should have and be the person that you should have been in that relationship. You move on from the the stage of anger to the stage of bargaining. And this is when you think about what you could have done differently to save the relationship. Maybe if I would have prayed more. Maybe if I would have been home more. And it could have been. That could have been something that could have helped the relationship. But at this stage, the breakup has happened. So you're bargaining with yourself and you're fantasizing about a future of what could have been. That's not there anymore. And that's the bargaining stage. And then you move on to depression. Some people have depression. Some experience like a deep sadness, isolation, and hopelessness to a point that they do need help. That they need help, a professional help, to get out of the state of depression. I remember feeling depressed when I went through my divorce. I felt, I don't know, the depression came not from fear so much, but from that I let people down, that I disappointed family members. I disappointed my kids because I have 2 boys from that marriage. It was a disappointment for me. I was disappointed in myself. And I did get in a funk, like a deep funk and a deep depression. And it took my community. It took people around me. It took me connecting to a life coach to pull me up out of that funk and say, it happened. Let it go. Get your healing and move on. So depression is real, you know. And you do go through that phase. Some people go through that phase. Some people do not. And let's remember, too, that not everybody goes through all 5 stages of grief. I can say I do feel that I went through probably about 3 or 4 of them myself. But if you go through that state of depression, please get the help you need. Reach out to people, even if you want to reach out to me. I always give my contact information where you can reach out to me. If I'm not the right person for you, I know people that are therapists, other life coaches that might be a good fit for you. But let's get you connected to somebody who can help pull you up out of that depression. Because we don't want to stay there. We want to get out of that depression. We want to heal and move on and live in life unstoppable. The last step of grief is acceptance. And that's when you finally come to terms with the end of the relationship. You develop a sense of self-compassion, and you start moving towards moving forward to be repair, to get your healing, so that you can move on and live a life, to live life. Acceptance is pretty big, and sometimes it takes a while to get there. Some people get there quickly. Just depends on the person. But this is when you finally realize, okay, that relationship is over. I need to work on me. I need to heal, and I need to move forward. And we have to remember that during this time when you're going through grief and all the different stages, you're going to experience the up and downs. One minute you might have joy, and 5 minutes later you're crying, bawling your eyes out. It's okay. It's okay during this time to be emotional, to be up and down with your feelings, to be angry 1 minute and then be sad the next minute. It's okay. And that's why it's important to have people in your community around you to help you navigate through those emotions so that you're not stuck in any of the emotions that may not be good. The not so good emotions, that's what we're going to call them. The not so good emotions, not to be stuck there, but to go through them, deal with them, and get through it. So let's talk about some tools for healing, because y'all know I am a huge advocate for healing in every area of your life. I am like the poster child for healing. I know what it's like to be in a place of hurt and pain in different areas of your life at one time. And I also know what it's like to be healed in those areas as well. And I love taking my clients through the healing process so they can be healed from relationships, from past traumas, whatever it may be that they need healing from. I love taking them through their healing journey. So some tools that I feel are good to get you through healing, of course, journaling. Y'all know I love to talk about journaling. Journaling. Get you a notebook or journal or something, and just always write down your thoughts and emotions. This helps you process what's going on. And when you write it down and you come back to it maybe a couple of weeks later, a couple of months later, or a year later, you can look back and say, man, on this date, on October the 16th, this is what I was feeling. But here I am a year later and I don't have those feelings anymore. How much I've grown, how much I've healed in a year's time. That's why I like to journal, because you can go back and read where you were, or what God may have said to you during that time, or what other people did for you during that time to help push you out of that dark place into the light. And so it's always a good reminder, and it helps us remember where we came from and where we can get to. So that's why I like journaling. Also, again, therapy and counseling, seeking that support, seeking that professional support. Sometimes it's more than just a family member or more than a friend. You need to dive deep. And that's when you need to see a therapist or a life coach who can take you to the deep places of that hurt, the deep places of where the root came from. And so that's when you need to seek out that professional help. And again, I'm a life coach. I know some therapists. I can get you connected. Physical activity helps. For healing, physical activity helps. It releases stress and it boosts your mood. Whether that's running. Some people like to run. I am not a runner. Whether it's working out, going to the gym, playing basketball, whatever your physical activity may be, it can help you boost your mood and set you in the right place for your healing. It causes you to get out of yourself, and it causes you to think about something else. When you're thinking about your health, eating healthy, sleeping the way you need to sleep, getting a proper amount of rest, it gets you thinking about your well-being, your physical well-being. And then when your physical is good, sometimes it helps you with your emotional. So when you're on the right track physically, it helps with your emotion. Because if you're not on the right track emotionally and not on the right track physically, that's going to be unsuccessful. You're not going to, most likely you aren't going to get to a healed place. So when you're physically moving around and healthy eating and living a healthy lifestyle, it can help boost your emotions. It can help boost your self-esteem, and it can help boost you to do what you need to do to get your healing. Again, connect with loved ones. We believe in the power of community over here. So you need to connect with some people who can love on you. Let people know what's going on. Let people know how you're feeling. I know I have a problem with that, and I still struggle sometimes letting people know what's going on inside of me. And what I might be feeling or what I might be going through and dealing with. I do still struggle sometimes, and I'm going to be honest with you, letting people in. There are some people that I can just easily talk to and easily say, yes, I got this going on. I'm struggling with this. But then there are times that I don't let that out. And so I will pray about it. And sometimes God will say, text this person, or have a person to text me or call me or say, hey, what's going on? How are you? You know, and it opens up the avenue for me to actually talk about what's going on and to let out what's truly bothering me or what I'm dealing with. But we believe in the power of community. Community can love on you when you can't love on yourself. And so you have to be connected to the right people. And we've talked about that before. Being connected to the right people who mean you good, who want to see you heal, who wants to see you successful, who wants to see you living the life that's unstoppable. So make sure you're connecting with the right people. Okay? All right, let's talk about the art of letting go. What does letting go truly mean? Letting go is not forgetting about what happened, but accepting what happened and moving forward. It's not being stuck in the divorce, not being stuck in the breakup, not being stuck in the hurt and the pain from the breakup, but it's accepting what happened, remembering, of course, what happened, accepting it and moving forward. It's about releasing control over the past of what happened. Excuse me. Releasing the control of about what happened and moving forward, living your life. It happened. Now what? Live. The divorce happened. Now what? Live. And if you're listening to this, that's actually a new book that I just wrote. It's called Divorce Now What? And it's called Live. So you're getting a sneak preview of a title of a book that I'm writing. So that's what it means to truly let go. Just accepting what happened and moving forward. Strategies for detachment. So you have to set boundaries with your ex, with your ex-friend, your ex-partner, sometimes even with mutual friends, because you have to let them know, I don't want to hear about what that person has going on. I don't want to hear that she's thriving, excuse me, or that she's dating someone else. I don't want to hear about what's going on in their lives. You have to set those boundaries. And even with your ex, if you're not in a place where you feel like you can have cordial conversation, set those boundaries. I don't want any communication. Use your block button on your phone. Block button on social media. Stop following their accounts. Unfriend them. Whatever it is that you need to do to keep your peace and to detach from that person, you have to do it. But only you can do it. You have to be the one that detaches from that person. And then sometimes it will be that you can't share friends anymore. Because some people don't know how to remain mutual when there's a breakup. So you may have to not be able to be friends with some of the friends that you had in common before. And you may have to go your separate way and find new friends or whatever the case may be. But you have to detach yourself from people. You have to set boundaries. And like I said, that social media is a big thing. Not watching their profile, not going on their pages, looking to see what they're doing, looking to see what they're posting, all of that stuff. You have to block them out of your mind. You have to reframe negative thoughts. Okay, what happened. Now I have to focus on moving forward. I have to focus on rebuilding my life and enjoying life. Not just rebuilding life, but enjoying life. And whatever that looks like for you, whatever enjoyment looks like for you, but moving forward. So you rebuild the negative thinking, and the negative thoughts about what happened. Okay, it happened. Okay, I'm letting go. I'm getting my healing. I'm moving on. And also, if it was a negative impact on you mentally, sometimes we have to think about that. It could have been a negative impact on you in the relationship mentally. And we have to rebuild our mindset and how we think and how we do things. Focus on personal growth. I love that one. And self-discovery. Find out who you are. There may have been things that you wanted to do or you thought about doing when you were in that relationship and you didn't do them for whatever reason, or you couldn't do them. because you were in that relationship. And it could have been that you didn't have a supportive partner. It could have been that you had someone that was speaking negative against your thoughts and what you were thinking about doing. Now you're out of that bondage. Now you're out of that relationship, and now you can do those things. You may have business ideas that were being held back because you were attached to that person, or you were in that relationship, and that partnership did not agree. It did not work for you two. It may be just different, whatever it could be, different ideas. You think about it. And now that you're no longer with that person, now that you're out of that relationship, that partnership, maybe now you can begin to do those things. But focus on your self-growth. Focus on your growth and self-discovery. Find out who you are, because sometimes when you come out of a relationship, a breakup, you find out you are a different person, and you become a different person because of what you had to go through. There may be things that you went through in that marriage or in that relationship that changed you. Going through a divorce or going through a breakup can change you. So now you need to figure out who you are. I am not the same person that I was when I was in that marriage. I'm not. I'm not even the same person that went through that divorce. I'm not, because I am now a healed person. I am now a person who is striving to live a life that's unstoppable and doing the things that are good for me. Getting on here, doing this podcast was very scary to start a podcast, to be talking and to share my own personal thoughts and my own personal feelings and what happened in my personal life. But it's also therapeutic for me at times. It's something that I've found that helps me continue through the healing process, that continues to take me to another level of living a joyful, unstoppable life. So figure out self-discovery, because sometimes you have to realize that you're not that same person, and discover who you are. Discover who you can become as a healed person from that relationship. And then we're talking about forgiveness. Forgiving your ex, and most importantly, forgiving yourself. You have to forgive what happened to cause the breakdown and the breakup of the relationship, whether it was your fault or not. But you have to forgive yourself, because sometimes we allow things to happen to us. And I say it that way because sometimes when you give a person an inch, they take a mile. So if they talk to us crazy and it wasn't stopped, and you didn't set a boundary, or you didn't set the tone for a respect, they continue, and it continued to build and build. Well, then that's something you accepted before the breakdown of the relationship. So you have to forgive yourself for allowing that to take place. And that's what I mean. And then like forgiving a person. When you forgive, it's not necessarily that you're forgetting what happened, but you're forgiving what happened. When we hold on to unforgiveness, you've heard this before, that when you hold on to unforgiveness, it can cause you physical pain. It can cause sickness in your body. It's causing you emotional stress to hold on to something that you can let go. You know, holding on to something that's not good for you. It's not healthy for you mentally. It's not healthy for you emotionally. And it's definitely not going to be healthy for you physically. So when you can let that go and you can forgive them, it doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with them. It just means I forgive what happened. I forgive your part in it, and I forgive my part in it. Now I'm getting my healing and I'm moving forward. So forgiveness is very important. It's a liberation that comes with letting go of resentment. You become free, and you're not bound by that hurt anymore. You're not bound by what they did anymore. You're not bound by the pressures of that marriage or that divorce anymore, whatever that case may be, like the relationship. And maybe you had a friendship that was pretty much one-sided. You're no longer giving 90% and they're giving 10% and having that weight on you. You're free, and you're free to live life. And that's what it's all about, living life. So forgive and move on. Moving forward and new beginnings. Let's talk about it. Let's always remember, I always feel that there's a lesson in everything that we go through. Everything that we deal with, everything that we go through, there's a lesson. And it's up to us to recognize what that lesson is, to learn from it so we don't make those same mistakes again, and to grow from it. So whatever the lesson may be that you need to learn from that breakup, from that friendship that was not a good friendship, recognize, okay, I won't accept this anymore. I need a friend that's going to be here for me, that's going to give 100%, just like I'm giving 100%. Or just knowing what you won't accept in any relationship, any marriage. If you choose to get married again, what you will and will not accept. So identify lessons from the relationship, learn from them, grow from them, create a vision for your life. What do you want your future to be? What do you want your future relationships to look like? You know, independent from your past relationship, what does that look like to you? What does your future look like to you? Only you can create that future. Nobody else can create your future. You have to. You know, some people like to do vision boards. Write out what you want to see. Whatever it is, create a vision for your future. Cultivate self-love and self-worth. You have to know yourself. You have to know what you will and will not accept in relationships. Self-love is loving yourself. If you can't love yourself, you can't expect anybody else to love you. How can I love myself and expect a friend or anyone else that I may be dating or in a relationship with to love me when I don't even love me? I don't even not only don't love myself, but don't like myself. And you recognize that you don't love and like yourself when you're doing harm to yourself, meaning like harm physically, harm mentally, harm emotionally. You have to love yourself in order for someone else to love you. So you have to cultivate self-love and self-worth. Know your worth. Know who you are. Know who God created you to be. Know who God says that you are. And if you don't know who God says that you are, pick up your Bible and find out what in the scriptures God says about you. And you start speaking those things over yourself. Get you some declarations going and say, I am a child of God. I am above and not beneath. I am a great mother. I am a great future wife. I am a great future husband. I am a great father. Whatever it is that you need to speak over yourself, find out who you are. Get some self-worth and speak those things over your life so that you can start seeing them in your unstoppable future. Embrace new opportunities and connections. When it comes to a breakup, sometimes, like I said before, you may have to end relationships with their family and friends that you share in common. And that may open up doors for you to find new friendships, new opportunities, new places to go. So embrace those new things. All right, let's just recap a few takeaways. Once you have dealt with the grief, let go, forgive, and move forward. Those are the key points for today. You deal with your grief, have your emotions, but deal with them. Let them go, forgive, and move forward. So, I just want to encourage anybody that may be on this journey of a breakup or a divorce or just an ending of any type of relationship. Always get the help that you need. And, I stress that because I feel that is so important that we have the help that we need to get through some things. Sometimes it's not easy for us to do this on our own. And you need that extra person, that extra support to help push you along. Get the help that you need. Whether it's reading books, find books about it. There are plenty books on relationships. There are plenty books on depression. There's plenty books on divorce. There plenty things out there, groups that you can connect with. Like I said, if you need help, contact me. I'm always available to help you reach whatever, get the help that you need. But there are resources out there. Connect with resources. Get the resources you need so that you can get through this journey, to help you get through this journey. Share your story. Sometimes sharing your story helps you heal. And I didn't realize that it was a process that I went through. When I went through my healing process, there was a part where I remember God telling me that he was, it's almost like erasing the memories from the walls of my home, meaning my heart. And basically what he was telling me is that he was going to erase some things that was part of my healing, to erase some things from my memory. And so God has made it where there are a lot of things that I went through in my life that I don't even remember on a daily basis. It's almost like the only time I remember these things is when I'm helping somebody who's going through the same thing. So if somebody is dealing with I can't say, like, say a miscarriage. I've had a stillbirth and I've had several miscarriages in my life. So let's just say someone is dealing with a miscarriage and the hurt and the pain from that. I don't on an everyday basis think about my miscarriages or think about my stillbirth, but it comes up in a conversation with somebody and I'm able to offer them the help that I did, the process that I went through, how I got through it. God brings things back to my remembrance. And this can be how you can heal as well when you share your story. When you share your story with someone else that's going through the same thing, or just sharing your story in general. It may not be to a specific person, but just sharing it and saying, hey, I've been through this. This is what I'm currently going through. Or I can help you get through it. This is the tools that help me to get through it. Sharing resources, whatever the case may be. We suggest that you share your story. Sharing your stories can help healing come in you too. Help you heal. But with that being said, we hope that this episode provides comfort, guidance, inspiration to anyone that's navigating the complexities of a breakup, healing, and a liberating process of letting go. We would love to see you living your life unstoppable. We would love to see this be a testimony of, I went through a bad divorce. I went through a bad breakup, and God went through the healing steps and letting go and forgiving, and God healed me. And this is my testimony. This is how I can share with others. Continue the conversation going. If you need more, email me, rhcrowe, CROWE, at marriageunstoppable.com. You can go to the website, lifeunstoppable.com. But reach out. We're here to help you navigate this time, to help you get through this bad divorce, this bad breakup, this friendship that has ended, and you're hurt and you're trying to get through it. We're here to help. We're all about healing, as I said before. So reach out to us so we can help you get through this healing. Also, if you have topics that you want to hear us discuss, we're open to you reaching out, letting us know what you would like to hear on this podcast. This podcast is for all of us. It's not just my podcast, it's our podcast. God gave me the mic. He gave me the voice, but through you too as well. This is our podcast. This is for all of us. So just reach out to us and let us know how we can help you, if there's support, if you have ideas, if it's things that you would like to see on the show, just let us know. And as always, as I like to say, thank you guys for joining me. This did go a little longer than our normal episodes go, but hey, God had to get a word out. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll see you next time. Love you guys for real. Peace.